Senzangakhona, good afternoon, and thank you very much for your time this afternoon. When we hear news about oil price dropping, we're sort of thinking, okay, is it going to get better anytime soon? But I guess it will take a bit of time for the new drop, if it's sustained, for it to get through the system and we can benefit from lower petrol prices.
No, actually, luckily, Brent, what happens with the price of oil is that when the numbers start to make sense, or rather when the oil price goes up, we get like almost an immediate increase in fuel, which takes about 30 days to be implemented. And when it falls, it's the same thing. So I think that we might celebrate the fact that there's a de-escalation in the Ukrainian Russian challenge, but I believe we're still going to pay for the average price of the month of March, which is when this whole escalation started happening. But if there's a decline in the price of fuel in the month of April, we will still get the benefits of a lower price coming through. And I think the Automobile Association has been giving indications of that since they started doing their survey.
What are you picking up today in terms of Brent crude? What is it doing today? I haven't checked myself.
Look, it depends on the contract that you're looking at. Some contracts, they're up on the day, and like I've said, you might be looking at the Brent crude oil, the one we know, is trading at 111 today. It was at 117 yesterday, which is a big deal. It's a good thing that it fell. But I still think that it should instead be going below $100 per barrel. What's important as well, like I've said, let's be careful which contract we're talking about. The Brent crude oil for immediate, or rather for the next maturity on the futures contracts is currently trading at $111 per barrel. I need it to come down lower than $100 for us to start thinking about getting proper benefits.
Okay. Now, tell me, the markets. Yesterday, I interviewed our correspondent in Moscow, Julia Chapman, here. It was also around about this time, and saying that the talks had just ended in Turkey between Ukraine and Russia. There was some progress. How have the markets been taking this news? I mean, are the markets receiving it in a positive way? Are we beginning to see a little bit of a change of sentiment based on the hope that Russia and Ukraine are heading in the right direction of finding a negotiated solution?
Yes, definitely. I think we're in a better position in terms of sentiment and our concerns, in the markets. But we just would like an outcome. We would like even better tonality in conversations between the rest of Europe and Russia. This, this issue of oil being marketed on the continent strictly using the Russian ruble has caused a lot of concerns in the market, and people are actually battling to get their heads around that. And Putin is still taking a hardline stance on the fact that any oil being sold out of Russia at the moment, as long as there's still sanctions coming from America and the Eurozone, he's going to accept payment for Russian oil only in rubles. So we need to see that conversation also starting to take a different shape. I do believe that over the next few weeks we might see more accommodation from both sides. That's being Russia as well as her neighbors and the rest of the world. Should these talks that are happening in Turkey that are trying to resolve the problems we're experiencing in Russia, if they come out positively, I do believe that we might have a different picture in terms of the oil price.
Yeah, what would it mean for the rand? We import our oil, we buy our oil currently in dollars. I'm just wondering how much of our oil that we get or that we find in the market is coming out of Russia. I mean, to buy directly with rubles could present a bit of a headache for us as well.
Yeah, look, I think that the advantage that we have is that during this crisis we've had the South African rand and the Brazilian real being one of the biggest beneficiaries of, the current crisis. People are saying if the developed world is at war with itself, then maybe we should buy emerging markets currencies. There's a belief that interest rates, obviously being higher where we are, might continue to be higher than the developed economies, and it will benefit investors. So we are seeing a lot of inflows of funds into South African, into the South African markets and other emerging markets as well, particularly looking to chase the higher interest rate. So I think that will cushion us for a bit. If you look at the price, or rather where we're trading the pound, we're trading it above 20. This morning we're at 19.21, and we're strong strong against the dollar, we're strong against the euro. So that is very positive, Brent. And I think that emerging markets, for once in a global crisis, are beneficiaries of what's going on at the moment.
Yeah, what about other commodities? I know I wanted to speak to you because we saw the headlines yesterday that the oil price is coming down a little bit, and we are hoping that the talks will improve that situation. But what about other commodities? I mean, like wheat, for example, in this case, especially grain. We know that we import, and the parts of Africa imports a lot of grain from Ukraine.
Yeah, look, the pricing on the rest of the commodities has started to come down as well. The price of gold was above $2,000 recently. It's come down. The price of coal is also starting to stabilize, and the price of wheat also starting to stabilize. But I think that one is going to be a relatively tricky one because people would have gone into contracts and taken up quite a lot of the production that's coming out of Russia and Ukraine as well. So there's been a big scramble for those commodities, especially because they are usable in a short space of time relative to the hard metals. But certainly pricing is expected to come down over the next few weeks as the de-escalation hopefully continues. But if Putin plays hardball and changes his mind about talking, I think we will see a continued increase in the prices of these commodities that are actually, geopolitically sensitive.
Thank you very much for your analysis and time this afternoon. Senzangakhona Nkomo, Director at Inkunzi Wealth Group.